Greetings, fellow Earthlings. Dave Smith with another episode of And Another Thing with Dave, coming at you with some election results and some talk and a little background. So there's some little bit of craziness going on. So I want to start off with this is a clip from Democracy Now!, Amy Goodman, from this morning, November 6th, 2020, and here we are.
President Trump addressed the nation early Thursday evening and falsely claimed victory and accused Democrats of trying to steal the election. He offered no evidence to back up his claims.
We think there's going to be a lot of litigation because we have so much evidence, so much proof, and it's going to end up perhaps at the highest court in the land. We'll see. But we think there'll be a lot of litigation because we can't have an election stolen like this.
ABC, CBS, NBC, and MSNBC all stopped airing Trump's speech live because it was filled with lies about the election and the vote counting process, they said. On Thursday, the Trump campaign faced multiple setbacks in court. In Georgia, a judge dismissed a lawsuit claiming without evidence that some 53 absentee ballots arrived too late to be counted. In Michigan, a judge rejected the campaign's request to stop the counting of absentee ballots.
So we knew this was going to happen, right? That the validity of the election was going to be called into question. But there's zero proof, absolutely zero proof of this. So that's a little disturbing. And here's another clip from Democracy Now! This morning that I want to play for you as well. And this is even more disturbing. So inciting violence.
Concern is growing that supporters of Trump may begin using violence to disrupt the electoral process. On Thursday, the president's son, Donald Trump Jr., called for, quote, total war over this election, unquote. This comes as police in Philadelphia have arrested 2 men after receiving a tip that men armed with AR-15s were driving a Hummer up from Virginia to attack the Pennsylvania Convention Center, where votes are still being counted. Police stopped the vehicle just north of the convention center. The Hummer had several stickers connected to the pro-Trump QAnon conspiracy theory. Meanwhile, election officials are openly saying they're worried about the safety of their staff due to a spike in threats.
Wow. So there it is. Full on, people are getting threats. Election poll workers are getting threats. Like, this doesn't happen in a democratic country. So, and these people are thinking that they're patriots protecting an election. It just, oh my God, it just goes to show how these Trump supporters have been so hoodwinked. They show up at a peaceful protest with guns to protest the protesters and end up killing somebody in Kenosha and running people over in North Carolina or South Carolina, wherever the hell that was. This is just unbelievable. Like, that's not patriotic. That's called being an absolute extremist, right? All right, so let me see if I can find this clip of what Biden Jr. or Trump Jr. actually said. Okay, so I found the clip of Trump Jr. and here it is. It's a little disconcerting.
I think the number one thing that Donald Trump can do in this election is fight each and every one of these battles to the death, so that we get full transparency in the process. And everyone on the Democrat side should welcome this, unless they're actually cheating. Because if they're winning these things fair and square, then everyone would love to know that, because me as an American, I'd like to know that, because I've lost all faith in the process. I think the Democrats are used to this from a Republican Party that hasn't had a backbone. You're not going to see that this time around. That party is gone, and anyone that doesn't fight like that should go with it.
So what a gaslighting piece of shit Donald Trump Jr. is Now, what Republican Party is he talking about that just rolls over and goes away? See, that's total projection. Let's look back at the Gore versus, the Bush versus Gore election. The Democratic Party rolled over and went away and didn't mandate the counting, and the Supreme Court stepped in and stopped the counting. So what in the hell is he even talking about? It's all just hyperbole. It's all just complete rhetoric. But the really disconcerting thing there is that Donald Trump should fight these to the death. It's an election. It's counting votes. There's no life and death. There's no fight. Like, what in the hell is that, if not inciting people? And then here we have, as Democracy Now! Was pointing out, they busted people with AR-15s going to Pennsylvania to shoot the place up. Like, oh my God. So, but I got some good news for you people. I got some good news. Apparently, TYT. Oh, I'm sorry. That last clip right there was from The Telegraph. Posted yesterday on The Telegraph, U.S. elections. But now we break to TYT from, I believe it was 9 a.m. this morning. So let's hear from Cenk Uygur.
The Young Turks special presidential election coverage. Cenk Uygur, John, all right, rolling with you guys. A little bit later, we will be joined by Ana Kasparian. And boy, do I have good news for you guys.
Good news. What good news?
All right, you guys ready for it?
Economy?
Yeah, John, you ready for it? All right, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Down goes Donald Trump. Down goes Donald Trump. Down goes Donald Trump. Joe Biden, next president of the United States of America. Oh, that is a relief. Oh, thank God. So, it's over. Now, let me give you the details. Overnight, Joe Biden, the president-elect, took the lead in Georgia. This is the best part of all. The district that gave him the lead was John Lewis's former district. Makes you believe in prayer a little bit. Biden will likely win Arizona, and some exit polls indicating it is because of anger in Arizona over what he said about John McCain. So, by the way, that's John McCain twice against Donald Trump, on Obamacare and now this. So, who's the sucker and loser now? Donald Trump. Okay, I'm not a McCain fan, but that's a nice piece of poetic justice. And then Biden also took the lead early this morning in Pennsylvania. And the reason why we've called the election and Decision Desk HQ has called the election is because it's over. All the remaining districts in Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Nevada are overwhelmingly Democratic. So Biden will definitely win those three states, let alone Arizona, which is half called. And John, if all of that happens, as is very likely now, Joe Biden will have 306 electoral college points. And from what I hear from Donald Trump, that's a landslide, because when he got 304 electoral college points, he said it was an overwhelming landslide, like no one's ever seen before. So I guess he lost like no one else has ever seen before.
So there it is. Booyah. The chump is gone, barring some horrible scandal. So let's hope and pray that there are no more nutbags out there with guns trying to stop the remaining votes from being counted or whatever. But anyway, good to have this one behind us, huh? Not that I'm a Biden fan, and not that I think a whole lot of things are going to change, but at least, we got rid of the orange clown. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Peace out. This has been And Another Thing with Dave. If you dig what I'm doing, picking up what I'm throwing down, please do share with friends and help me grow the podcast. Peace out and keep fighting. Okay, greetings, fellow Earthlings. This is Dave. I'm back with another add-on segment here. Bernie Sanders released a 6-minute, 5-second speech on Facebook, and I want to play that for you here. He's talking about the results of the election and what we have to work on in the first 100 days of Joe Biden's administration.
As I speak to you now, it appears that Joe Biden is on his way to win the electoral votes of Pennsylvania, Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada, and become our next president. He is also winning the popular vote by over 4 million votes, a number which will likely go over 5 million when all the votes are counted. As I've said many times, this election was not just about Joe Biden versus Donald Trump and what their views on the issues were. This election went much, much deeper than that. It was an election about whether we end pathological lying in the White House and retain democracy and the rule of law in our country. And thank God, it appears that we have done that. In the days and weeks to come, I am sure that everyone in the world is going to be taking credit for Biden's apparent victory. And the media and the pundits will have their views as well. But let me just say this. I want to take this opportunity to thank progressive grassroots organizations all across this country for their extraordinary efforts in helping to make this victory possible. You made the phone calls, you texted, you registered voters, you did virtual rallies, you distributed literature, and you knocked on doors when possible. Knowing the importance, the extraordinary importance of this election, you did everything that you could and more. Together, you built widespread support for Biden among young people, people of color, and the working class of our country. In my view, Biden's success would not have been possible without your extraordinary efforts. And I just want to thank you very much for the incredible hard work that you did.
I just have to interject here. I don't think Biden's victory would have been possible without Bernie endorsing him. And, you know, yeah, we got to move forward, but we can't lose sight of the corruption of the DNC and the problem with our two-party system and the fact that the DNC totally stole this election from Bernie and propped up Biden. You know, Biden was trailing everybody. And then Obama encouraged people to start dropping out, Klobuchar and Buttigieg, you know, so then that made Biden look stronger. And then who knows if Bernie got death threats or whatever, but he just tucked and ran again. But the next part of this is pretty inspiring as far as what he's going to push the administration to do in the next 100 days. But I had to interject that because it's so sad. Bernie should be making the acceptance speech right now, not Biden.
And one of the areas, by the way, where the progressive movement had real success was getting more and more young people into the voting booths and into the political process. The latest estimates that I have seen show that over 53% of young people ages 18 to 29 voted, which not only eclipses 2016's turnout rate, but would be the highest youth turnout rate in American history. And by the way, those young people voted overwhelmingly for Joe Biden and other Democrats. But tonight, as we celebrate our apparent election victory, we understand that our struggle is not over. It has just begun. We have accomplished much, but much more needs to be done. Now, not only do we have to win the 2 Senate runoff elections in Georgia coming up in January, so that we can have Democratic control over the Senate. But we're going to have to do everything humanly possible to make sure that Congress and the new president move rapidly and aggressively to address the enormous crises facing our country. In the next several weeks, I will present to the Senate an agenda that I would like to see passed in the first 100 days of the new Congress. This is an agenda that, among many other proposals, will include a strong COVID-19 relief package that protects the unemployed and small businesses. It is an agenda that will end starvation wages in America, make it easier for workers to join unions, and provide equal pay for equal work. It is a people's agenda that will create millions of good-paying jobs as we rebuild our crumbling infrastructure. It is an agenda that makes health care as a human right as we move toward a Medicare for all single-payer program, and an agenda that substantially lowers the outrageously high cost of prescription drugs in this country. It is an agenda that will make possible for all working-class young people to gain a college education without going into debt. And it will radically improve our dysfunctional child care system. It is an agenda that will create millions of good jobs as we lead the world in combating climate change and transforming our energy system away from fossil fuel into energy efficiency and sustainable energy. It is an agenda that will finally demand that the wealthiest people and largest corporations in America start paying their fair share of taxes. It is an agenda that will take on the systemic racism that prevails throughout our country, as well as our broken and racist criminal justice system. It is an agenda that will lead to comprehensive immigration reform and a path toward citizenship for the undocumented. There is an enormous amount of work that must be done. And as we go forward, I look forward to working with all of you. So once again, I want to take this opportunity to congratulate everyone who played a role in making this enormously important victory possible. Thank you for all that you have done. Let's go forward together.
Paid for by friends of Bernie Sanders. BernieSanders.com. So, you know, that's kind of inspiring. Well, hey, whoa. Sorry about that. But, you know, it's going to be interesting to see, you know, will Biden's cabinet listen? Will they, you know, what bargaining chips does Bernie have, you know? I don't know. If he can get the Medicare for all passed, that would be pretty huge. For-profit healthcare seems evil. I mean, we're the only industrialized nation in the world that doesn't offer single-payer healthcare. Like, you know, profit over people, once again. So, anyway, just thought I would include that clip of Bernie to wrap things up in the post-election announcement there. Peace out.